And just like that, it is Tuesday night. Welcome to another episode of the Indie Escape Network presents The Path to Phantasm. Guess it would help if I took that down now. JW.
I always love it when the music hits and then we get out and then we have cool people in the green room and then you and I are talking and then the cool people come and talk with us. It's a great night. It's a good night. We're 3 days away from Phantasm Orlando, the Path to Phantasm Orlando Part 2,
Part
the
2.
Deuce.
We got Ken in the house. Thank you for joining us, Ken. Yeah, there's a
Hey,
lot
Ken.
going on, man. So I'm going to do this a couple of times tonight because I'm actually very proud of this. Come out and see us at Phantasm on Friday at 4 p.m. We're going to
4.
be We're going to be hosting Felissa's panel at 4 p.m. on Friday. So
Yeah,
make
it's a
sure
big deal. It's a big deal, Joe.
it is a
I,
big
I'm so
deal.
excited. She's one of the first scream queens. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like she's right in the first initial hub of scream queens, and we get to host her panel and meet her and talk to her and talk to the fans. It's going to be very exciting.
Very much so. And
Also,
of
I'm
course,
rewatching all of the movies this week.
oh,
Sleepaway
okay.
Camp is pretty awesome. Like it's a pretty awesome like for the genre and the years it was made. It's a great little movie. So I put
For them
Sleepaway
to
Camp
pull
rules.
that end scene, I mean, come
I don't
on.
know. I don't know if we can pull that end scene out now. Like I don't know if you had an end sequence like that, how it would play with how divided we are.
Well,
You know what I mean? And it just it's an incredible ending.
I
It's
don't
one of
know.
the best horror endings ever.
We may have to bring Mick Strawn on because he knows about the Marky Mark stunt cock for Boogie Nights. So it may be like the same thing, you know?
She's not talking to it. That's the only real difference between those two endings.
Ah, okay,
Is
fair enough.
fair enough. She doesn't talk to.
So the other thing we'll be doing is Saturday night, 8 p.m. We're gonna be at the screening of Harlow's Haunt, where our buddy John Dugan is in the movie. Terry Gerald wrote and directed it, and his first AD, Amy. They were here last time, and we will see them all next. Or I'm sorry,
We're
next week.
doing
I'll say
that
next
panel
week.
too, and we
Yeah.
have goodies. We're
Yes.
bringing goodies that are going to be either part of Hollow's Haunt or part of the awards ceremony for the big film festival that's going on during Phantasm. Goodies,
Sean, great to see you.
shocking
Goodies.
and goodies is the best way to describe it.
Okay.
Indie films that are coming out that have may or may not have huge followings after this particular thing starts to get rolling this year. I think it's gonna be huge.
All right, so you want to talk about the last thing we have to announce, and we'll probably plug again later on.
Oh well, this we have John Dugan who's going to be in a new show for the Indie Escape Network, where creatives unite, called Riffin' with John Dugan. Now, John Dugan is an icon in the film industry, and he is now going to have his own show. And I can almost guarantee, Joe, would you say at least one moment an episode that's going to be viral? At least one.
At least one.
At least one moment, and I get it's an Indie Escape Network guarantee that there will be one viral moment per episode of Riffing with John Dugan. He's for years he's been asked about doing a show. He's been asked about doing memoirs. He's going to tell stories about Hollywood. He's going to tell stories about the horror film industry. It is an incredible get, and he has years of all of this knowledge and wisdom, and pretty funny story. Like the stories are incredible. Joe,
Hey,
they're movie history laced with laced with wackiness, laced with just complete craziness and zaniness, and just this wonderful guy that everybody, no matter who you say, hey, John Dugan, they go, oh, love that guy.
let me tell
Everybody.
you, we were in Cocoa last year at a convention, and John hung out with us after the convention. It was Terry Gerald, myself, and my buddy Jonathan. John did not leave our suite until almost 4:30 a.m. And let me tell you, the guy can drink us all under the table. I don't know
Where do
how
you
he
think
was
the
walking.
stories are coming from, Joe? This is what I'm talking about. Old timey Hollywood, coupled with booze and fun and just craziness. Plus, he's a hell of a guy, and he's just really funny, and
He
everybody loves
is.
him.
He's a stand-up guy, and definitely. All right. Hey, Sean. Awesome. John Dugan is the man. I'm still trying to see if I can get to the Festival of Horror in Denver next weekend. Sweet. Hopefully, you can get there and shoot some
If you
pictures.
meet
Let's
him,
get
go.
into this.
I love the Indie Escape Network, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you got a show coming. And
So
hopefully, he remembers that he has a show coming up.
let's get this rolling. Do it to it.
Well, let's bring in Cindy first.
Okay.
Cindy wrapped the film today. She's joining us tonight. She has 2 horror documentaries coming out that are near and dear to my heart in the sense that, as you know, Joe, I am a disabled American. There are many disabled Americans. You may not necessarily know that we're disabled, but we are. And she's made these wonderful documentaries that look at how people that are disabled are participating in the indie horror film world. And I
Horror
just,
world in general. Yeah.
yeah, but just it's an incredible documentary, and she has two different things coming up with just so much importance that we need to get out there. And we also, speaking of goodies, there are 2 of the goodies we have when we're bringing our pockets to the Phantasm Festival, Phantasm Orlando. So please welcome Cindy Sanabria, right? Did I get it right? I got it right.
Close. It's Sanabria, but close enough.
Sanabria.
Thank you
Sanabria.
so much.
Cursed vowels. Cursed vowels. And your vowel
Thank you so much
sounds.
for having me on.
Well, thank you for joining us this evening.
Yeah, we
And
appreciate you.
Thank
I agree. I mean, this is very important. And Gabe has been involved. Gabe
Yes.
I can never say his name. He has
Symbolista.
Symbolista. He has
Show on
symbolistic
Tuesday nights.
cynicism. Yeah, why can't I say that? And
You're-
I haven't
you're-
even been drinking yet.
So you're butchering the name of his show. I'm butchering her name.
Right?
Everything's going to go well at Phantasm this weekend.
Yay!
Absolutely. And then there's horror able women as well.
So what made you this, like, documentaries are always about a need to fill a void and to be able to tell a story. So when did you know that this was something you needed to do?
Well, this is something that I've kind of always wanted to do. I mean, I've just in general, I've tried to represent the quote unquote like the underdogs in the horror industry, right? Like the people that get looked over, the people with obvious talent, but we're just not given, you know, certain opportunities or, because of who we are, right? And I was raised by my whole family. I mean, I was the only able-bodied person in my family. So, I mean, growing up around people with disabilities is not an odd thing for me. I mean, I don't look at it from, and I don't know. I guess you know, when you're born and raised around people that are obviously able to do everything, you know what I mean? You don't look at the things that other people look at, and I just hate discrimination, and yeah, so um, my sister, people that know me know that my sister, it's just me and my sister, and my sister's disabled, and I wanted to do something to, you know, represent her and at the same time give something back to the people in my life that had disabilities that made an amazing impact, on my life. And, meeting these people just broadened that horizon because I've met such amazing people and such wonderful people. These stories have to be told.
I think that's an amazing point, that if you are from a family that has any kind of disability in it and you see it every day, when you get out into the world and it kind of gets like people get treated or mistreated or not treated as well as they should, you kind of like it yeah.
It pisses you off.
Yeah,
Well,
and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, no, I think you're right about it.
Right.
And I think the interesting thing is, if we don't tell people stories, 9 times out of 10, you don't know who's disabled and who's not.
Right.
And so we're always constantly judging or making bad assumptions about people. And this is the kind of thing where you're opening up the world of horror indie films to everyone, and it's a really cool idea. It's a great idea. It's probably one of the better ideas for a documentary in a while, to be honest.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I got you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be showing the trailers to her 2 documentaries.
Said goodies. I said we had goodies, Joe.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell them what they're getting. They just have to. They have to come and show up, and then they. But those are the goodies. We have trailers for our 2 movies,
and they will be playing on Saturday night at the awards ceremony. So at Fantasm, the film festival.
So super cool. Yeah, yes. It's a really nice. It's a nice little place.
And I promised Cindy we wouldn't keep her long because she just got done wrapping today.
On another film, yes. Another film with a cause. I'm all about causes, right? Yeah, I just finished wrapping on a true crime thriller about America's most prolific serial killer. It's called Sam's Web, and it's the first Black serial killer biopic.
Oh, that's very. Now, where is he from? Is he from?
He's originally from. Well, he comes from Ohio, but he started his killings in Florida, and then it just spanned out over 17 states. So yeah, that's
right. Because is he one of the guys that did the highway things? Or
yeah,
there was a documentary a couple years ago. Where
yes,
they were
it was. Yes.
There was a documentary a couple years ago where basically they were like, hey, just so you realize, 95, 4, like these are all major highways that go through several states.
Right.
And so, realize the sheer volume. We think we know a lot about serial killers, but in reality, probably not. Like there's a lot of unfettered highway in this country.
Well, people are complicated in general, so there's always stories to be told.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we're so lucky that you're telling them for us. And we appreciate it.
I really appreciate the support, guys. And I know you guys have a long show. I wish I could stay on. It's just been such a long day.
Go get some
It's been a long week.
You're busting your hump. Go get some sleep.
Let me just bring these up one more time, if I may.
Yes.
It's Horror Able.
Horror Able Women.
And Horror Able.
And actually, the girl in the right top corner, her name is Sarah Church. She's a deaf and mute actress. She's in this upcoming film that we just finished. And it's my first time directing a deaf mute actress. It was a beautiful experience, and she's a wonderful actress. So I just wanted to give her and Gabriel a shout out, of course, because he worked hard. I pushed him hard, but we worked hard, and we got.
For those of you who don't know, Gabe from the Indie Escape Network has been working closely with Cindy on a couple of projects. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, we're super proud of Gabe. We're super proud of Cindy, and we're super excited that we're bringing these with us to the Phantasm Orlando.
She's in Florida.
Yes, I'm coming, guys. I'm coming.
Oh, are you? She's going to be there.
Okay. I'm in Florida.
Okay. Well,
yes.
Florida's a big state.
We'll talk.
There's a lot of highways.
Hey, Cindy, where can everybody find you and your projects on social media?
Okay, so I run and own a horror tour guide. So horror tour guide, www.horrortourguide.com. Same thing with Women of Color in Horror. We also you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. And you can find, we're pretty much like Horror Tour Guide and Women of Color in Horror. It's like we're on Twitter, we're on Pinterest, anywhere. Just follow us, support us.
That's amazing.
Yes, we got more great films coming, guys.
Oh, I have no doubt in my mind. You're going to have to come back and talk to us about films.
Oh, yes.
A dedicated show. So we'll have an episode and we'll talk to you all about that. Cindy, it was an absolute pleasure having you on. Can't wait to see you this weekend.
Go get some rest.
Know when you're going to be there. Yeah, go get some rest.
Go get some rest. We'll see you this Friday.
Bye, guys. Unpleasant dreams.
Oh, well. She didn't have to say that. Like, I'm old. I can't have unpleasant dreams. I need a full allotment of sleep, Joe. Like, I need full We have a guy from somebody from the Villages today.
The Villages.
Cheers from the Villages, Florida.
Oh yeah,
Thanks,
I
Mike.
saw that. I brought that up.
Did you?
Before.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I was mesmerized by Cindy and her stuff, like the stuff she's working on. And like I said, every once in a while, somebody talks about a movie, and I go, "Is that a documentary?" And then like she's making documentaries, and then she's also like taking stories from documentaries. Seems like she's doing a lot of work.
So let's get that FX guy up here, and I forget his name.
He's Trouble,
and what
I like him though.
done,
Like he's Trouble, like I am. So good Trouble.
Go ahead.
I want to bring up Nick Benson, FX artist extraordinaire. He's worked on the Blob. He's worked on the Abyss. He's worked on Tremors, Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
We could be here all night saying what he worked on.
Yeah,
let's get him up here.
Society. Like I'm gonna bring up stuff that that other horror films fans know, but that's it. But let's bring Nick Benson up. Nick,
there he is. Oh my God, he's smiling. Something's wrong. No, wait, stop.
Something's wrong. No, man, I'm in my church. I got to build my little church here, so I'm good.
I know, and it's freaking amazing.
What are you doing? I'll bite. What are you doing in your little church? Like, what's the gig?
I think you know, Joe. I don't know if JW knows, but I started doing a podcast last year.
Hypodermic?
Yeah, hypodermic. And that's with Project Louder and TJ Bowser.
TJ,
phenomenal dude.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And I am so shocked at how many people actually listen to it. I'm just blown away at the people we've gotten on to the people that listen, because we made it to the top 200 on Apple alone.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
congratulations.
That is a milestone.
If you have smart people talking about Lobo, you're going to get in the top 200. Lobo's an underrated DC.
We've had a wild array of guests, that's for sure, and we're getting ready to start season 2. So I got to build this new space because of that. But I also, as you guys know, I come from a musical background too, so I had to sort of make it a double duty studio. And it was nice.
Very cool.
A much bigger spot for me now, and I can kind of stretch out and do things and have guests in here. It's nice. A couple chairs behind me. So,
see, Joe, I told you he has friends.
I have friends, but I'm always in here alone.
From his ska
big band days, my lair.
Well, but so I mean, now you're coming to a couple things. Joe has a deck that you made for him last year that he will not stop talking about on the network.
That was at Scarefest. We got that at Scarefest.
At Scarefest. I'm sorry. Wherever he got it from.
That was Phantasm.
It was Phantasm.
No, I don't think so.
No, it wasn't.
We were at Phantasm. You handed it to me. I had Amy and...
Oh, that's right. We did a drawing.
It was Phantasm. He's super crazy about it. I said, and one of the things that came up, I said he should put red and green wheels on it.
There you go.
See, I told you.
I am not putting.
Get yourself some Bones wheels that are red and green.
Bones,
exactly.
The Bones
would be amazing.
Brigade. Damn, we're showing our age, man.
That's right. I'm proud of that.
Wow, Pal Peralta and
age is just a number. Well, Tony Hawk's still skating. Everything's fine.
I skated when I was a kid.
You know what? I might have a set of green and red wheels. I'll take a look downstairs, see if I have.
See,
you'll have to buy some trucks.
Told you.
I mean, do we still use tracker trucks, or are there better trucks out there? No, I have no idea.
Independence, dude.
Independence. All right.
That was my thing.
I was in the tracker at the time.
All my friends were into the bike riding. Like like I had one friend who always put the things on the back so he could do tricks.
Yeah,
and
I raced
the pegs
as a
pegs. Yeah, I always looked at them like I can't do any of that shit at all. Like I can barely sit on a bike. It's
I
like
tried to race BMX bikes when I was younger, and the problem was they were too damn light. I had to get a Chrome Molly friggin' built BMX mongoose, and yeah.
I raced 2 mongooses, and then I went to Gary Turner, which was really light.
Nice.
Wow. So we are showing our age. It's official. But let's, you have the Phantasm weekend coming up this weekend. Do you get excited about meeting people and hanging out at these cons, Nick?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I love
Okay.
it. Years ago, I'd say this is probably around 2016. I did my first convention, and like it was hard. It was a hard ride from 2016 all the way till about 2019, 2017, 2018 ish. It took a lot of convincing on a couple of agents and friends' parts to get me to do them, because I didn't think anybody even knew who I was.
Come on, you made the Tremor. You did the effects.
That doesn't matter. I worked under people. I worked under Steve Johnson. I worked under.
Yeah, but nobody cares about that. They just want to know any story you can say about. Can I tell you? I showed my 5-year-old nephew Tremors this summer. He loves horror films. He's super crazy. He brings horror films up on his iPad and he's like, I want to watch this. I'm like, we can't watch this. And so we watched Tremors, and he was trying to explain the Tremors monster to my wife. And he's like, there's a mommy Tremors monster and it has little babies in its mouth. And then one of the guys cut off the little baby monsters. And I'm like sitting there going, and Kelly goes, are you watching Tremors with him? And I was like, yes, I am watching Tremors with him. He loves it, but he doesn't understand how what's going on with the worms. He doesn't understand it at all. He's like, there's a baby monster and it's in the mouth, and then it comes out and it's
so we got to play 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon then, Nick, because there's quite a few apparently.
Well, that's what I mean. But Tremors is a huge thing. The Blob is a huge thing.
All of them are a huge thing. Nick, how old were you when you started doing the FX thing?
I was young.
You started were a kid, weren't you?
Yeah, I had just come out of high school. I worked in post-production for a while. I was actually an apprentice film editor, editing celluloid, if we go back to aging us. Editing 35
actual film stuff?
Actual film on a movie.
Not digital? What?
On a moviola.
What? We had to cut it and stuff? Jesus.
My editor, who was my stepfather at the time, was editing everything on a Chem 8 plate. So if you know what that is, that'll trip you out.
There's an interesting thing when you're talking about the film business and bike riding and music, and I think the effects industry is one of those places where it's all of them meet. You have people in the effects business that are from somebody I was watching your show, I was watching the podcast, and just the idea that I think his name was John Azrael, right? John Azrael was his name. James Azrael. Sorry. Again, I was doing a little research, trying to get things done, but I was amazed that it started with him. He bought Star Wars figures in Canada.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Ridiculous how things happen where you get involved in the business from just the different places. What was your start? What was your, aside from working with the editor?
Well, like I said, I started out as an apprentice film editor, and I thought that was a direction I wanted to go. And this is, it's interesting because, recently I did some screenings in Texas with Brian Usna. We also spoke at a university down there.
Society? Was it for Society?
Society and Bride. Yeah, we did a double feature of Society and Bride of Reanimator at the Texas Theater. And Brian and I went and spoke to a bunch of film students at University of North Texas, and that was pretty cool. It was pretty chill, but it's nice to hear, how these new kids are wanting to know in the direction they want to go. So for me and Brian as well, I mean, it was really kind of haphazard. I started right out of high school as an apprentice film editor, thinking I wanted to do that. And then one day I happened to be delivering mag to a sound studio in Hollywood called Gamillion Studios. And I was dropping off the mag, and they gave me a nice little tour of the facility, and I saw the console and all the sound equipment, and I was just like, yeah, I have to do this. So I got a job there after the 3 movies of the week I was working on, I went to work for them. And I started working with their sound effects guy, doing sound effects and score stuff. And you know, I was young. I was playing in a band at the time. So my fall, I call it a fall into effects because I literally fell into it. It was pretty much handed to me by Steve Johnson. I wound up roommates with Steve because my guitarist had a room. I happened to be looking for a room. And my guitarist's other roommate was Steve Johnson and Kevin Brennan, who had both just stopped working at Boss Film. And I wound up roommates with these guys, and I just wanted to do some weird theatrical shit with the band and started dialogues with Steve about it. And one day Steve was just like, you know, you're asking me a lot of questions. Why don't you just come make Rubber Monsters with me? And I was like, and get paid? Are you kidding? Is this a joke?
Well,
so that's literally how I wound up doing effects or starting to do effects.
So getting paid is interesting, but also doing things for free is interesting. Wouldn't you agree, Joe?
Oh yeah.
So I think we should bring in our other guest this evening, who's also going to be at Fantasm. He does stuff for free and takes care of people, really. And he's been one of our biggest guests on the Indie Escape Network. We say, hey, do you want to come on the show? He immediately goes, yes, if he can make it. And he's, I just want to bring him in. Bill Slevin, where are you at?
Yeah, Bill.
How you doing?
There he is.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm like a co-host now.
Wait, we're going to get you a show on the network.
He's got his own show. Check out
No.
the YouTube channel.
You got
Or
so
come
many
to
things.
the-
You got, how many magazine covers have you been on in the last month and a half?
Well, that's what was great. They have been so great with us. I mean, I got 2 this month and 2 last month. So we have my my Georgia team were on the cover of American Paranormal magazine for the Southeastern edition. My Nebraska team is on the Midwest edition this month. Last month, my Florida team was on the Florida edition, and I was on the international edition with the Warren Legacy Foundation. So they've been real good to us. And actually, back in March, I was on the Florida by myself.
The man is on fire.
So wait,
Man's
this is like
on-
a perfect opportunity. Nick, what is your opinion on the paranormal?
Oh yeah, I I've had my own experiences, so
Really?
I'm a believer. I was a skeptic for a long time. I didn't believe any of it, but
Well,
Yeah.
till
you
share the
experience it.
experience?
until you experience it, you don't, But I experienced it pretty young. I didn't believe in it. but
I'm a
lot
big
of weird
believer in just going, yeah, I believe in it. That way, if anything happens, I'm covered. If anything doesn't happen, I'm covered.
But Nick, are you willing to discuss what happened to you when you were younger?
I've had experiences throughout my life, whether it's paranormal and otherworldly and different experiences for different things. But I grew up in a house in North Hollywood that was in a very old neighborhood, and I always felt very strange there and never felt comfortable. And there was many experiences in that house that I had. Hello, Vi. Anyway, I had several experiences there. My parents wanted to renovate the house, and that's when most of it really started going berserk. I always felt really uncomfortable in one particular bathroom, the one that my sister and I shared. I never wanted to use it because I always felt like I was being watched. And,
Always bathrooms.
yeah, it's always. I don't know what the hell they'd hang out in a bathroom for, but whatever.
Aren't bathrooms where most, like, if somebody is planning and contemplating a suicide, isn't where that?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had that experience, and then there was a night that I'll never forget. Like, my parents were both gone. I was with, I forget where I was. I think I was on a thing with my school or something, and I got home really late, and I was there by myself, and my mom hadn't got home from Universal yet, so she was on her way. But it was dark out, and I was in the kitchen, and I kept hearing whispering, and I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, what the hell is that? Is somebody in here? And I'm like, I go out and we had like the kitchen was like here, and then you had a formal dining room, and then there was like a big living room over here. And then the back of the house was like a den and a loft that my parents were building. And up in the formal living room, it sounded like there were probably 5 or 6 people in there all talking, like whispering. And I got really, really scared. So I was probably 11 or 12.
Wow.
I called.
Yeah, no.
I wound up calling my uncle who lived a few miles away, and he sent my aunt over to pick me up and take me out of there. But there was noises, banging, whispering. It got weird. It was really weird.
Did you? This is I don't know. I'm trying to think of like how Bill looks at something. Did you ever look at like the history of the house after that? Did you?
Well, I didn't, because I was so young. I never really thought to look into it, but I still know the address. But
Bill's like, I have the address right here.
Potentially look into it.
We write that one down.
Yeah.
We got a couple
I
of
do know that
comments.
when my parents sold it, the people that bought it sold it 6 months later because they were so freaked out they couldn't stay in the house.
Oh, so it's just like Amityville then. It's like going through owners and.
It's the North Hollywood horror.
All right. So Luciana is saying plumbing is creepy as fuck. All right. We got Elena saying
realistic.
sounds like Bill and I get along on those topics. Yeah, I know the feeling. Became an exorcist to study the subject because of experiences. I'm assuming that was growing up. A lot of people commit suicides. Lost souls stay around. Okay, well, that's even creepier now. Thank you. So, Bill.
Yes.
Gotta go. I gotta leave. I gotta go now. This show is too much already. You know my rules. I have rules, Joe.
We're gonna take you out on a ghost hunt one day.
I think the ghost would be like, that chubby bastard. I'm gonna go after him.
Well, that's great because we can just shove you down and we can all
make JW go first.
Well, yeah, the old adage, I don't have to outrun the bear, I just have to outrun you.
That's right.
If you get an attachment, we could eventually take it off. We might wait a few days, but we'll get it off.
Let's not get out of hand. I don't like where this is going. So, yeah, okay. I'm verklempt now. Go, move. Jesus, we get attached.
So I'm curious, guys.
That's no monkey on your back.
Yeah.
So, Bill, you've got a couple of panels at this convention. Phantasm.
Yeah, we have.
Correct?
Yeah, we have a few. We have on I think it's Saturday at 12 is our main panel. That's with me and whatever teammates of mine are going to be there. We're doing our normal one where we talk about what we do, some of our experiences. We show some evidence. We talk about equipment, as much as you can in 45 minutes. But, we try to get a little bit of everything in there. Yeah. And then I'll be in, I don't know what time it is. I think it's like 1 or 2, somewhere around there. We'll be with Chris and Joe and Connie and everybody because it's going to be about the Warrens and the Warren Legacy Foundation. So I'll be in that one. And then I believe it's at 6 on Saturday. We have a pure question and answer. Everybody on the paranormal side will be in there. And then also on Sunday, we have another question and answer one for anybody that missed it. You get a lot of questions normally.
Oh, I can only imagine. Nick, something freaking huge is happening there.
35th anniversary.
A little something.
Yeah, it's one of they're calling it one of the they're calling it one of the biggest reunions in the history of this film. Is everything they're describing, that it's most of the cast members, they've tracked everybody down and got everybody a ticket to Orlando.
That's movie that, by the way.
That movie's celebrating its 35th anniversary. So is the Blob, right? So what does it feel like when you go to these cons?
To be that old.
No, that's not what I was going to say. don't be assholes. Just be nice to Nick.
It
I
feels
saw it
He
in
is
the
a
theater.
guest. What is it like when you go to these conventions and your work is still being celebrated 35 years after you made it?
Honestly,
It's got to be beautiful.
it is, but it's super hard to digest that. I mean, it's, it's just, it's still kind of trying to wrap my head around it. It's not something that I don't think any of us thought this film would last the test of time. I know at the last show that I did with Amelia, I leaned over and I asked her, I said, so how does it feel to have become a horror icon? Because Angela is a horror icon.
Yes, she
People
is.
have tattoos of her. People have, like, it's everywhere. She has made that, and she made that character. So it's kind of a beautiful thing, because I never thought that movie would last that long. I certainly am proud of it because it's the first film that I got to do, and if it weren't for Steve Johnson, I wouldn't even have gone down this path. And I'm very happy that I did. And Steve gave me a lot of work in those days. So, it's really surreal, to say the very least.
And then sequels and a remake and
A remake in
holy crap.
2010. Like the remake, just so we're clear, the remake is 13 years old now.
Wow.
Yeah, that's hard
So
to believe.
I mean, that's incredible. And I was telling you before the show, I thought one of the coolest things, like the Night of the Demons thing, is going to be amazing. But I wanted to let you know, Rich Dries, the guy I do Generation Movie with, is a PA film critic, and he goes to Blobfest every year. And this is the first year they did the Blob, the '88 Blob, as a screening at Blobfest. And it's in, like, they've been talking about it for years, and they finally added it. That is one of the best visual effects movies, and the movie holds up. That's the other thing about Night of the Demons as well. These movies hold up, the practical effects hold up, and what you have is when people watch them now, they look at it and they go, "Where's the CGI?" And it's like, there is no CGI. They're actual effects.
It's all camera tricks.
It's all camera tricks and blood bags and amazingness. And I just think that's why that stands the test of time, and I think it's an amazing testament to what effects people do, past and present. The past folks were working super hard to make sure none of the lines were showing. Is that something you take pride in?
Yeah, I do, and I'm really proud of a lot of the people that I've worked with that even taught me things. Like, they've moved on to do way more amazing things than I've even done. But I think that practical has sort of found its way back, because we figured out that yes, CGI is good used and within its limits. But there are still things that CG cannot do well, and practical
people,
stuff.
hair, small things.
Yeah, it's real organic stuff that all that organic stuff.
No, don't bring up the AI shit.
But with the 35 years, it's crazy, because I've been in the paranormal field for 35 years, and I could never imagine back then
How are the effects now and then? The practical effects different in the paranormal world than they were? Like,
equipment's different. Everything's different. I mean, once TV brought it out into the mainstream, it also went on a weird path.
Because now you have all these bumpkins. You have these bumpkins who have no training, like out at a haunted place in the middle of the night, and they're like, "I think I heard something." Yes, you probably did.
Some of them become our clients. They watch the show and they're like, "Oh, I could do that," and the next thing they know, they're at home, and it's still.
Yeah, and then you're talking on my show about getting me attached.
See?
No, there's no need for that.
But we could get it off, so we're good.
Okay.
Jamie Hill is joining us. Jamie has a show on the Indie Escape Network as well. She's trying to bring us to Canada. to have Indie Escape Network in Canada. She was also one of the stars of this summer's indie horror flick, Skinamarink. Thank you for joining us,
Awesome.
Jamie.
Would
We
it be?
appreciate
It's a
that.
boot. It's a boot. The Indie Escape Network.
So, Bill, I gotta while we're on this subject, I
Yeah.
kind of gotta ask a question now because I remember watching like Houdini biographies and stuff, and then they went to people like psychics and everything. And speaking of practical effects, people were hitting levers, making tables move and shit, and
Yeah.
walls shake. Have you run into anything like that?
I mean, yeah,
The word is charlatan.
I've had clients contact us that there's things, and then we go and we can figure out that it's not paranormal. And I don't mean just they were scared, I've had people rig things, and try, because nowadays, if they get a team in there and the team believes something really crazy, they may get fame from it. So some of them attempt it. That's why most of our stuff now at first is done through Zoom. We talk to them. We have team members on who are amazing, gifted psychics. They can see what's going on in the house before we even go there. So a lot of it comes into play. Before, nobody wanted. They weren't bringing you in the house. They weren't calling you unless there was something they believed really going on, because they were embarrassed and scared by it to begin with. Now it's cool. It's cool to have a demon.
Well,
No,
Nick,
it's
I want to.
not. Keep him in a cage.
Nick, I gotta ask you now. Like doing practical effects, did you ever like practice or do something and like scare the living shit out of somebody in real life, not intending to? Like just practicing.
Absolutely, I did. Are you
Give us a
kidding?
story.
That's like the most fun thing to do.
Prime example.
Oh, there was some friends of mine years ago that they were kind of neighbors, and they had a 14-year-old son, and he was very cocky about his parents not being able to scare him on Halloween. So I came up with this very elaborate thing
That's
to scare the living shit out of him.
That's mean, is what this is.
Awesome.
Hey,
No,
he said
yeah.
his parents couldn't scare him. He set himself up for the worst nightmare of his life.
There you go. You got a
It
cocky
worked.
little bastard saying he can't get scared, and
Yep.
boom.
It's
Cocky
hard to
little 14-year-old.
it's hard to scare me now. Like I always said, though, if I get called into a case to see if it's demonic and it actually is demonic, even though they're rare, those cases scare me.
Yeah, it's unsettling.
Yeah, that's very unsettling. But I could tell you. I could tell you one. I don't know if I ever brought this up when we were talking before. I was in high school and I had a Ouija board. Back then, and
No.
had one of my friends over. Nah, back
I
then
mean,
I had to
nothing
be careful.
ends well with the beginning of we had a Ouija board.
I was in high school and I had a Ouija board.
We all
Also,
saw The
our
Exorcist,
house-
damn it.
Also, my entire class died.
And look at me now. So
That's why I became a
Well-
paranormal investigator.
Well, if Night of the Demons taught us anything, is don't party in a funeral home.
there you go.
Yes.
But I had the Ouija board out. One of my friends was over. Nobody was home, and I was trying to freak him out a little bit. And I said, "Oh, let's see, let's play with this thing." And freaked him out. I didn't freak myself out, but we had an issue. So the thing actually started moving, and but with Ouija boards, I tell people, you'll never know if that thing is actually moving or if somebody that you're playing. I mean, you would really have to trust that person, even with their subconscious possibly moving it. You know what I mean? But I had, back in, here we go. I'm going to date myself. The old TVs that were like boxes. I had a remote control car, and it was sitting on top of the TV with the wheels hanging off each side. So we started playing with the Ouija board, and then the thing turned on and it started spinning. He freaked out. And I said, wait. Because I was always into electronics. I'm an IT guy all my life. I said, wait. The battery's in it. Relax. I took the battery out. It stopped. I put it back there. We started playing again. He got nervous. He took his hands off, and the planchette moved by itself. And then the tires went back on. and he took off out of the house and ran. I don't know how many blocks down, and I think he went and got a call and somebody got a ride. He wouldn't come
And this
back
is
in.
why Bill didn't have any friends as a child.
Yeah, but the crazy part was, I mean, I was kind of laughing, although the thing did move by itself, but I was kind of laughing. He left. I'm home the rest of the night by myself. I'm downstairs, and you hear this noise that it sounds like that somebody, caved in the roof upstairs. I said, "What the hell?" I go upstairs, and in my bedroom, if you remember back then, a lot of people had a dresser that had another dresser connected to it, and then the hutches on top,
Oh
and they're
yeah.
all, connected in the back. Well, the
They were the
entire
heaviest goddamn things ever.
they were
so
they were that,
heavy.
that pressed wood. Yeah,
Yeah, they were
So-
so heavy.
the two dressers with the hutches were face down on the floor. It took like 5 of us the next day to pick this thing up.
Nope.
I still to this day cannot explain how the hell that thing went down, but it was on the floor.
That is the equivalent of somebody saying "Get out." I would have fucking
Yeah.
hightailed
It's like
it.
it's like the Eddie Murphy joke. Like he tells a joke in one of the early comedy specials. It's like you never see a black family going into a house. It's like, hey, kids are playing outside. Everything's beautiful. Chandelier's lovely. Get out of the house. Too bad we can't stay.
Yeah.
Right out. Bill, and let me ask you a question, because I think a question that comes up a lot with people who are a little bit like we've become a society that's a little bit obsessed with paranormal investigations and just so much television, so much stuff.
Right.
Are there people in real life? Are there people in life that are more attuned to the frequencies that you
Yeah.
always hear? You always hear the stuff like I'm more attuned, or I have a closer concept with nature or whatever. Is that real?
Here we go. Starting with the orb. Don't start with the orb. So yeah, no, it is. It is. There's almost everybody has this third eye. Everybody has those psychic abilities. Some people, when they were young, chose to just shut them off. They didn't realize. Some people don't know they're open. So sometimes when people think they have a haunting, sometimes it's not. Sometimes they're just sensing things. And then there are some people who are more gifted. I don't understand exactly how it works, but I've had all levels of people, including Stephanie, who keeps joking about the orbs. Very gifted people that can, see things I can't. I don't know why I've never tried to open up. My wife always yells at me because she says that she's not into the ghost hunting stuff. She's a feng shui consultant, and she's into energy and auras and all that. And
She's
that's
in
her.
Brazil.
That's
She's
her.
smart.
That's her there. She's in Brazil right now. But she yells at me all the time saying that I need to start meditating and opening mine up because I probably have a lot more than I know. I'm an empath, so when I go in a location, I can sense the energy and the emotions of the dead and the living. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. But yeah, there are people that just hit. They're tuned into certain frequencies, and they can see and hear, and it's amazing what some of these people can do. Now, like you were saying before about people, I don't believe that every person, like you're talking about Houdini, I don't believe every person can be contacted. And I know some psychics out there are going to get mad at me. I don't believe that, because I believe if we could contact anybody we want all the time, we would do it,
In a heartbeat. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
true.
I mean, what I've encountered doing this over all these years is that the people that are here are usually here for a reason. They don't realize they're dead. They haven't, they don't want to cross over. They have some kind of unfinished business that they need to, that they need to somehow get out. Movies talk about it a lot. Things like that. So I don't think everybody hangs around, although I've been to a couple psychics that have blown my mind of things. And this is way back before we had internet and stuff where they could look up every aspect of your life, and they pulled out stuff from my grandmother and things that nobody in the world would know, So I've been impressed by some people. If I've ever told you, did I ever tell you that story about the one on the Jersey boardwalk?
I've heard it. I don't know if he's heard
I haven't heard it, I'm pretty sure Nick hasn't heard it. Or the people watching the show tonight haven't heard it. So let's go.
No. Of all the places in the world, I was, again, this was back in, no, this was just out of high school. We're on the Jersey boardwalk. You know, I grew up in Jersey. So we're down there, and there was a
We won't
palm
hold that
reader.
against you.
No. Well, now I'm in Florida. Don't hold that against me either. But
We'll just make a meme.
yeah, I went from one to the other. I don't know. But it was a $5 palm reader on the boardwalk. And I go, oh, I got to go check this out, you know. So I go in there. She didn't ask me anything. Just asked me my name and my birth date. That was it. And she starts looking at my hand and she goes, okay, I see a lot of girlfriends. I'm going to pull out initials. She goes, they may not be in order, but I'm going to pull out initials. I was intrigued by this. I'll be honest. I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting. Because normally, if they don't know what they're doing or they're faking it or whatever, they're going to go with very generalized stuff. This was, you know, this was something that was going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah,
And
I'm seeing a Jennifer or an Amber or
right. I didn't know where we were going with this. When I tell you she pulled out first and last initials of every girl I dated in order, except the first one. She said RC. And I was just confused. And I said, I don't know anybody, you know, with an R. I didn't, you know, and sometimes, you know, they'll change their tune when you go against them. I'm like, no. And she goes, no, it's an R. I go, I don't know an R. And she kept insisting on it. And then I thought about it and I remembered my first girlfriend, her name was Betty, but she was Greek. Her real name was Raina. So it was her initials. Nobody knew that, you know, she never went by that. So what in the hell is she doing on the Jersey boardwalk reading palms for $5? I have no idea. But sometimes you will encounter some that will blow your mind.
Maybe she wandered out of the forest or something.
She came from somewhere.
Out of the ocean.
Yeah.
She just manifested in there.
Where
I
did
don't
that
know.
lady come from? I don't know. She has some sort of humpback.
So
though.
Bill, did you ever revisit her?
No, I know. I never saw her again. You know, I was going to say, you're going to find out. Somebody's going to go, we never had a palm reader on the Jersey.
Yeah,
boardwalk."
they didn't exist.
It's going to be a real interesting story.
It's every horror movie going. I have a quick question for you, Bill, because you work with the Warren Foundation.
Yeah.
Their movies, like their franchise right now, they're one of the highest grossing horror movie franchises going right now. Is that causing you more problems, or is it bringing more attention to your foundation?
You
Or
know,
a combination of both.
it's a combination of both, because it's just like the TV shows. TV shows brought the paranormal into the mainstream, but it also kind of shows people not all the total truth, you know, because TV and movies, they have to enhance it, you know. But if you'll see, because you're going to be at the show, come and listen to some of Chris and Joe's panels. Chris is going to talk about The Nun and the Conjuring movies and everything and the real stories behind them, and Haunting in Connecticut. You'll be amazed because some of the stories are actually more horrific than the movie. But the movie has to, and I understand that. I don't you know, go against the TV shows, and you know, there's a lot of people they don't like on TV and everything. Because I take it for entertainment. People don't understand that you're watching a 1 hour edited TV show where they were probably in there for 3 nights filming stuff. You know, we go for 15 hours and capture absolutely nothing a lot of times. It's just common.
Yeah,
So
have to make it interesting.
yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever been in a place where in that hour, you know, we had to run out of the building 14 times and, you know, had 14 possessions. And,
Or like the notorious guy going, oh, I'm feeling
Hey, bring me along
angry."
on one of those and we can make that happen.
yeah, I'm going to bring JW.
I'm gonna look. Look, I don't know. I don't know that I can scream. I will definitely say I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like I feel like it's. You know what though? The more I think about it, I would like to do it because I think I've had like I'm one of those people. I have deja vu all the time. Like
right.
every other day, I'm like looking at my wife and she's like, "Why are you looking at me?" I'm like, I think I've had this conversation. I've been here. You know what I mean? Like
right.
So maybe.
Well, you don't want to go. You don't want to go in a known haunted location and feel like you've been there before. that might.
And then all of a
who
sudden,
knows?
it's the end of The Shining. It's just my picture.
Yeah. You
at
would
the
have loved.
hotel.
You would have loved the abandoned prison we used to go to up here in Belglade until they demolished it. It was a 280-acre abandoned prison in the middle of the sugarcane fields.
Oh boy.
It was frightening looking at it during the day, but it was a lot of fun. It was very, very active, but they tore it down. I think it was like 2 years ago
Yeah, it
now.
was active because it was a prison and it was on a sugar glade. Like the horrors that happened at that prison
Yeah.
know no bounds.
But
Yeah.
there's people buying up these abandoned prisons, and they're actually making them into
Yeah.
either hotels or scares.
okay.
Or,
Even
It's-
haunts. Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, haunts. Yeah.
It's okay. They're rich people. They can do that stuff and they can go merrily on their way and whatever.
I
Let
hate
'em
to
buy
pay their
it.
insurance.
I would buy one. My wife would kill me.
But then it would be haunted.
for you, Bill.
Like,
She hates Robert.
Would you say, Bill, that that there's probably a greater percentage of this paranormal stuff that happens? Like, even though it's unsettling as it is, it's not necessarily something to be afraid of.
No,
It's usually just they're unfinished business. There's also what do they call them? Residual hauntings. Is that what they
Residuals,
call them?
yeah.
Where it's just like a tape recorder playing over and over again.
Yep.
Those are a little weird, but it's like, that's kind of what maybe I think was going on in that house I was talking about.
Yeah.
Because I heard that same stuff all the time. It was kind of like, whispering and just, I don't really know.
Right.
It
Yeah.
seemed like that's what it would have
Just
been.
kind of like a rewind, repeat kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very, very common. I mean, we've had places where people hear, like an old house, and they'll hear like the creaking steps every night at 7:00, and then if you do research, you'll find out maybe the person that lived there before lived there for like 80 years. And every night he came home and went up the stairs at 7:00. That energy footprint is just pinned there, and it is a lot of that. But yeah, the thing is, people don't understand. They get scared because if you hear a noise, you hear a voice, and you're watching TV all the time too, you're going to get scared out of your mind. But ghosts are not dangerous. They're not there to harm you. If I tell people, if the person was cranky in life, they're probably even more cranky in death. So you may get somebody who's a little, bit of a pain in the
Joe,
ass.
you got to be nicer. You're gonna be.
For
the
most part, they're just
cranky.
trying to exist like we do.
Yeah. They may be saying, they may knock that thing off your counter going, hey, what are you doing in my house? They don't understand. They may not understand, Look, put Beetlejuice, it may not be that far-fetched. You know what I mean? They didn't know. They were in the house. They didn't know what was going on. Yeah. But that is common. I mean, demons, which are very rare, those are the things that are there to harm you. And again, they are rare. we don't even know anymore, maybe 600-700 cases. I have no idea anymore. But I've done maybe 7 that were confirmed demonic, and maybe so many more after that we went in and it was possible, or it was just an infestation in the house.
Do you get recurring friends?
Clients?
Like, well, no, not clients. I was thinking more recurring, like this, like 600-700 haunts, and you said like 6 or 7 demons possible. You know what I mean? Whatever. Right. Have you ever had a repeat demon?
No, not that I know of. I mean, no, but also
long time no see.
Yeah. Hey, I know you. No, but remember this too: 600-700, 70 to 80% of that are nothing or energy or. So people don't understand a lot of that. If you just watch ghost hunting shows, you don't know about energy. You don't know about self-manifestation. You don't know about things, psychiatric illness. And you know where I'm going to go with this. When we do I know a lot about psychiatric illness and addiction and everything that plays into all of this. And that's why I always say, if you want to do this, go out and do public stuff. Don't go do people's homes until you have somebody that has done this, because you can harm people yourself more than what's in there, So, but yeah, it's most of the time I tell people, the first thing we tell them is it's not a demon, because that's the first question they have. I have a demon in my house. No, you don't. You would know. And then on top of it, it's not.
They tend to announce themselves.
Yeah, they do. But it's it's not there to harm you, and they feed off of fear. So stand up to it and tell it, this is your house. Get out. And sometimes that will actually chase them out. because again, they're not there to harm you and they don't understand. So, it's not always something, that is dangerous or anything like that. TV has, kind of confused people a little bit on the amount of demonic stuff.
And it's funny because people don't realize, like Pazuzu, that was Eileen Dietz, and she's like the nicest lady in the world.
She is, but she's a snack thief, man.
Oh, is she?
I love Eileen, but she likes
So
to
wait a minute.
steal snacks.
What's
We got
next?
Dugan drinking the beer for everybody, and Eileen Dietz stealing the snacks.
What's
That's
next?
awesome.
That's important. What's your snack of choice, Nick?
Lots of them.
Lots of them.
I
It's a little
understand.
tiny thing,
I understand,
man.
my friend.
This is awesome. Hey guys,
Eileen
we
away
are
from
at the hour mark, and I could talk to you guys all night, and I'd like to
I
talk
really
to you
could.
guys all night, but I don't want to keep you because I know you guys have packing to do and everything.
Travel
and,
plans.
Nick, hopefully this year you're gonna be on time with the flights and everything, brother. I know last
my
year there was a
God,
bit of an
yeah.
issue.
Yeah, I have a direct flight this time, so I have no layovers or anything. So
So, are you arriving Thursday or Friday?
I'll be there Thursday night.
Nice. I'm gonna
Boy.
get there. Bill, when are you gonna get there?
I'll be there Thursday, but I'm coming in the morning. But poor Chris just boarded the flight tonight. He's coming from Paraguay. I think he's got to go to like Panama to Texas to Orlando. I don't know where he's going. Yeah. He's got about 22
Wow, that's
hours.
a lot of
he said.
connections.
Yeah, he got about 22 hours. He said.
Jesus.
There were a couple of things I had to hit real fast because I didn't get to them at first. Hold on a second. There were some good comments about water and stuff. Where'd they go? No orbs, no dust. Yes, some people need to realize that
I have an orbs allergy.
They know me.
Yes.
They know me about speaking on orbs, and they just try to work me up. They're friends.
Stephanie did say this though. He does have more than he gives himself credit for. So you're saying you're an empath, but they think you have more going on.
Yeah, I get yelled at all the time. She's part of my Georgia team. She's the head of my Georgia team, and she's also my assistant director in the Warrens and part of the management team with me in the Warrens.
I think part of your magic, Bill, one, you come on our show and we have such a good time with you. But part of the magic, Bill, is that you're a personable person and you're so informative when you talk to people about stuff. I actually think you're too informative in the sense that, you just can't believe how much you know. You know what I mean? Like you sit back and you go, this guy knows so fucking much. Jesus. Now you want to take me on a hunt. It's like, no.
The people in the Facebook groups don't think so. I get cursed out all the time because I discredit their photos and then they're all pissed off.
and we're back to the orbs. And we're back to the orbs, Bill.
It's an all-day event. Trust me.
That's not a ghost. You have dust mites.
Yeah, dust
I keep it very close by.
We are at the end. So, Mr. Benson, I know you have a panel or two going on this weekend.
News to me.
I'd like to know how come we weren't invited to host that panel, but whatever. We won't hold that.
I couldn't tell you. I didn't even know about it.
You got a Night of the Demons panel from what I saw. Oh, damn. Okay. I don't have that information pulled up.
Surprise.
Sorry. Nick, you got a panel with Night of the Demons. Hey, JW, take over for a second.
Wow, okay. You have a panel with Night of the Demons, apparently. Bill, you got a couple things going on this weekend. You have all kinds of good stuff coming up at this Fantasm Orlando. And we're so glad that you guys came on the show tonight. And do you have, can you mention that thing you were talking about in the green room, Nick, or is it a surprise?
I can mention it. I can mention it.
That you're saving, because I don't want to.
I'm unveiling it on Friday. So
tell us a little bit about that.
I partnered with a very good friend of mine, Steve Clark, who is known as IBAT Works. Incredible mask maker and sculptor. We partnered up to make Night of the Demons character masks, and I am unveiling those at Phantasm. And
are they going to be available for this Halloween, or what is the?
They will be I am going to be raffling these particular unveiling ones off because they are the first out of the mold. They are the
Prototypes?
artist proofs, and they will be signed.
Woo!
So
I might
yeah,
need some tickets.
we're having a little fun with it,
How-
and
how does the
we're
raffle work?
announcing that we're making these, and we're going to start, getting information from people on pre-orders. Anyone that wants to pre-order them.
That is super cool. And so there'll be a raffle. I would assume this raffle is going to be tied to your panel that you did not know about at all. That would be my guess.
I'm still
But
looking. Give me a moment. I know I stopped. Damn it.
you're just a creepy voice now. It's weird. It's weird that you're like, just stay there for a second, then you start
Joe's
talking.
a lurker.
Yeah, he's a lurker, man. A voyeur. But so Nick, we're so thrilled that you came on the show tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
Anytime.
We will see. Yeah, and like I said, we will at some point. Joe and I are talking about like I would love at some point to do like an effects show where we maybe look at effects like from old movies versus, because we do. My show is all about Generation Movie, is all about movie history and putting films in their proper perspectives. So at some point we'd love to have you on and just like go over and like, hey, what do you think? Like what went wrong with the effects with the Wolfman? Like why didn't we fix?
Nick,
why do we do all like?
No, hold on a
crap?
second, Nick. One of his last episodes was millennials and Gen X watching
great episode.
Porky's and then discussing it.
It was fantastic.
Think about that. Millennials and Gen X
watching
Porky's.
We had five people. Yeah, we had 5 people that were from
Millennials.
that are millennials that are anywhere from 22 to 31 who had never seen Porky's, and they watched it at a dinner party. I shit you not. They watched it at a dinner party, and then they came on and discussed. Like the one guy was like, one person out of the 5 was like, I'm in on the movie. I think the movie is a great testament to like a skilled filmmaker and all this other stuff. And everybody else is like, I don't know. It's a little raunchy. Not for us. But it was a really fascinating
There's
episode.
so much wool. You could knit a sweater.
Wait, it was there was Gen Xers that never saw that.
No. It was millennials that never saw it, not
Okay.
Gen Xers.
No.
It was the Gen
premise-
Xers discussing it with the
Right.
Okay,
The premise
Yes.
the premise for the show came about because we had there's a wonderful girl, a wonderful woman named Natasha Bagetsky who comes on our show every once in a while, and she's she's just like a whirling dervish. She's super talented, that writes her own movies, does all these things, like performs on stage, and she loves Porky's. She just thought it was a great movie. She's seen it, but she mentioned it at a play rehearsal, and none of them had seen it.
And when you reference why did they call her Lassie?
Nobody got it. So it was like, yeah, she's like, like Lassie, nothing, no. And so it became this huge thing where, she threw a dinner party and we're going to do other movies with her. Like one of the ones we're going to do, because she owes us, she's never seen the Monster Squad.
Oh boy.
Yes. And I try to explain the Monster Squad, practical effects, amazing makeup,
fucking great movie.
And then using Universal monsters without calling them Universal monsters.
Also the single greatest child scene in a horror film ever, because that little girl didn't know what she was getting when he picked her up, and that scream by Phoebe at the end is real. It's a real scream because she had met the actor but didn't see him with the fangs or the eyes.
Yeah.
So we're going to watch that. It's a really cool thing.
We've had Andre and Ryan on a number of times, and they're great sports, so we got to include them as
great
well.
Fucking
Andre
movie.
Gower.
Gower's cool, yeah.
Do the Last
Well,
American Virgin with them.
So
one
Bill,
of the best endings ever.
Bill, Bill, maybe you should be on the network, Bill, because at the end of the Porky's episode, the Last American Virgin came up. And if you look at, this is a funny thing that I don't even know, Joe knows the fact of, but we did The Last American Virgin because we did 1982. Last American Virgin is one of the greatest teen movies ever made, in my opinion. Fantastic movie, amazing, blood-curdling ending. Yeah, they're just fucking
great ending.
A fucking horrible ending. But it's one of those movies. It has music, has a good looking girl, has decent looking people. You know, it's got everything. But we started talking about that movie, and none of them have seen it. So, and that's the kind of movie you can drop on somebody who's never seen it, especially these empathetic youths.
Yes.
And just watch. I want to be at the dinner party just to see them cry.
So what are the last two that you guys are doing? Just one of the
last,
guys?
yeah, we're doing just one of the guys, and we're doing casual sex because we've done raunchy comedies. Porky's to casual sex. We did Porky's. We then did Bachelor Party. We then did Weird Science, and then just one of the guys and casual sex.
I met Diane Franklin at Phantasm year 2. I was down there talking to her for like an hour. She was just the greatest.
She's a sweetheart.
Is Diane Franklin not everybody's dream girl from Better Off Dead and from
and
Last American Virgin But yeah, so that's the kind of show we do, and it's really a lot of fun. But Rich and I are usually by ourselves, but these kids came in and they were like, we've never seen it. And we're like, okay, we're going to do Last American Virgin with them as well. Because that's the kind of movie that kicks you in the groin. And never...
It does.
You never recover from that. The ending of that
movie. I talked
to
her about that. I said it was
Joe,
the greatest ending.
Joe, did you know that that's the highest graded show of Generation movie? The most watched. That is the most watched episode of Generation movie. With all the movies we've done, we've done over 60 episodes. That movie has the most amount of views, and I don't know why.
I asked her if she got a lot of hate mail after that at first. She said she took a big beating from that, the ending of that one.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but what about Dodger Stadium? Everything was fine.
Yeah.
Go with that girl. That girl's much safer.
We have gotten way off track, and damn.
We're going to be live. This is going to be live. If people want to come, this is what's going to be happening behind the scenes at Phantasm.
And
these kind of conversations.
Cool. Nick is going to let us know where all the good after parties are.
Are you real?
I know where they are. Nobody invites me.
I'm going to be honest. I feel any after party that has these four guys and a bottle of Jack Daniels can't go far wrong.
I will tell you, there's a good bar in the lobby that I tend to float around. So
I'll have liquor.
I don't know if you remember, but last year we had story time with Mick in the bar.
I wasn't there. I wasn't invited. What the hell? Damn it.
Mick told lots of good stories, man.
Mick was a little ill that weekend.
Yes, he was.
And then you and I were ill after that.
Yeah, he gave me COVID.
And me. Thank you. Yes, we both got COVID from Mick.
What a wonderful way to
make out with that bastard.
Come to Fantasm.
Come on down.
Well, I mean, it's something that happened. It's not Phantasm. It was. Well, we're not blaming Mick, or his dog,
or any. Yeah. But
all right, wait.
Thank
Nick,
you guys for coming tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. Tell us where we can find you on social media. Check up on your projects, and what do you have upcoming?
Let's see. Well, Phantasm is the most recent thing. I did finish a movie in April that won't be released till 2024. That's with Mel Gibson and 50 Cent called Boneyard. That is a film based on real murders that happened in New Mexico. That I believe will be coming out in 2024. I want to say Lionsgate, but I'm not 100% on that. I can be found on Facebook at Nick J. Benson Official and on Instagram at Nick Benson 427. I have lots of different merch things coming up. You'll see the reveal this weekend with IBAT, and I are doing masks for quite a few things. The long-awaited Journey for Society stuff is coming. I also will be doing some Bride of Reanimator stuff. I had a nice meeting with Brian Usna about doing some stuff for that too. So nice. I'm going to be doing some of that. So that's the up and coming stuff. You'll be seeing a lot more of Steve Clark's stuff with me as we're sort of trying to build a small empire of quality mask making. But that's where we're at. And I can't wait to see everybody at Phantasm. It's going to be immensely cool.
And your podcast?
I wish Steve was going to be there. Oh yeah, I have a podcast too. My podcast is called Hypodermic. It is on Project Louder and co-hosted sometimes by my producer TJ Bowser.
Great guy.
Come and listen to it. It's all about when I have a guest on. I like to have people from all walks of life, different artists, different musicians, different actors, different crafts, and talk about what led them down the path that they got to where they are, and how we're all interconnected, because I feel that in art we all are connected.
Absolutely.
Would you have a podcaster on that show? I would love to talk about my pops and how I ended up in a room full of Star Wars toys.
We should have you on sometime. Be interesting chat.
It would be.
All right, Nick, thank you very much for joining us. We're looking very much forward to this weekend and hanging out. Do me a favor, stick around for a couple of minutes in the green, just 2 minutes, and we'll be with you very shortly. Thanks again, Nick. All right, Bill.
Here we go again.
Here we go again.
Bill gets younger. Bill gets younger every time he does this.
Right?
So yeah, right. So obviously be a Phantasm all weekend. Coming up after that, anybody local around here in Florida, I have I'm doing a bunch of library lectures. We'll be at Palm Springs in Palm Beach County on September 30th. I have on the October 7th and October 14th, we'll be in Miami. I'll check my website for the actual branches. So, there's a million down there. I don't remember them offhand. October 21st, we'll be at the Coconut Creek Library. We have some interesting stuff coming up next year for MegaCon. You don't want to miss that. My website is billslevin.com. My team is P.E.R.S.F.L.com. We update everything on there all the time. If you don't know my team is all throughout Florida, Georgia, Nebraska, UK, Italy, and Greece. So if anybody's needs help, thinks they're haunted, please contact us, and we'll either help you or we'll put it through the Warren Foundation also. So everybody there is the best of the best in that foundation. So you'll get the best help there.
So wait a minute, what was that West Palm one?
It's the Palm Springs branch in West Palm Beach.
And when is that?
September 30th.
September 30th. Damn, that's only like a half hour, 45 minutes from me.
No, that's not far. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, I believe, is a fundraiser by the library. All the other ones are free, but I think that one's like $20 at the door or something like that.
I will do this tonight with you, and I will agree to this. If I can bring a scooter and do what I need to do, I will go on one of these with you. I trust you.
We'll figure something out up there, because I was also trying to find out about what was it, the camp PopCon, to see about investigating the camp. So if that ever comes through, we'll go up to the camp.
No, see, JW, I'm really concerned about you though, because if you go to one of these things on your motorized scooter and it gets possessed, and it's going to be like the Dune Buggy cartoon.
Oh my God, it'd be amazing. That'd be incredible.
We'll have to exercise the scooter.
We have to exercise the scooter. But here's the thing. I'd be terrified, but I'll do it. I agree.
We'll work it out somehow. We'll figure something out. We'll come up that way and do something. And
Joe can come with me and take pictures.
Oh, thanks. I could be your photographer.
There you go. That. Well, also somebody I can shove in front of my scooter. Just don't possess it. Possess him.
You'll be well protected with us. But I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. There's, like I told you last year, in October last year, something got me at the Riddle House and came home with me. So things happen, but I've been pretty good most of my life with this. Only a few times had some issues that I know of.
All right. On that note, we are going to wrap this up. Bill, thank you again. We look forward to seeing you this weekend, and we plan on having a blast at the panels. We'll see you Friday.
Looking forward to seeing you guys.
All right.
Pack
Good night,
up. We'll
Bill.
see you
Thank
in the Phantasm.
Yep. Good night.
All right. Whoa,
Yep,
whoa,
we are again.
whoa, damn, man.
Full
Don't
bill.
let me push buttons. What the hell is wrong with you?
That was you. That wasn't
I'm
me.
half into this right now, so
We're half into that.
probably not
I
a
just
wise
agreed.
idea.
I just agreed to go on a haunt with Bill Slevin.
There
It's a
you go.
mistake. It's a mistake.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to the network and you haven't already, go to the Indie Escape Network on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever the hell that thing is, and Instagram. We have many shows on the network, still growing. We greatly appreciate it.
Animation movie every Monday.
Yep, well, that was on there, wasn't it?
It was, but I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there as extra. I'm here. I'm gonna promote.
Fair enough. And this weekend at Phantasm, we will be at Saturday night. We will be at one of the premieres of Harlow's Haunt. There's also going to be a Q&A panel hosted by J.W.
Oh.
Colwell.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I got two things I'm hosting. Yeah.
And Felissa Rose, JW, you're going to be hosting that panel as well.
4 o'clock on Friday. Very excited.
JW is kindly allowing me to be the cameraman on all these things. So,
yeah, as he pushes me out into a haunted house with Bill Slevin. Cameraman, go. Go, talent. Dance, monkey, dance.
All right, we're going to exit now. JW, final thoughts?
Nothing. Just I'm looking forward to seeing you again. This will be our second con representing Indie Escape Network. We have some major responsibilities, and we're going to see a lot of good friends, and we're going to have a great time. I hope everybody comes out to Phantasm. If you see us, say hi. The Raiders hat is a good way to know it's me, because this is one thing. If I had an action figure, I'd always have the Raiders hat. So we'll see everybody at Phantasm.
This is pretty much my uniform. So yes, with the Indie Escape shirt. So please don't hesitate. Damn,
you're on fire tonight. To say hi.
To say hi. Damn,
we'll
I
see
wish
everybody
I was
there.
High. I'd probably speak better.
You might. It wouldn't affect as much as the booze. We'll see everybody Friday.
We'll see everybody Friday. Thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Good night.